Hey gang, Dan Shane from StringerX coming back at you with another video. Have you ever gone to the tennis courts and you want to record yourself? You want to do a Facebook Live, or maybe you just want to record your match using a GoPro or a Kodak camera or something of that nature, but you really don't have anything to mount high to get the best angle, so you either just mount it on the fence with one of the little wire guys, something like this, and you just kind of put it on the fence and you wrap it around, or maybe you put it on the ground with it facing up, which isn't really a good angle. Well, stay tuned, because we're going to talk about how to make an inexpensive mount that works great for the GoPro or any other camera that has a standard base to be able to connect. A 1/4 inch standard base. Alright guys, hey, we're back. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can actually make a mount using some basic supplies. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is everything that I got, I was able to purchase from Home Depot. So I'm sure if you have a hardware store, you can probably find some similar items. So the first thing I bought was this telescoping pole. It's 6 feet and it literally cost me $10. It was $9.99. But as you can see, it just telescopes, gives me a nice long reach. So that way if you play on some courts that have a longer reach, you're good. The second thing that you're going to need, I bought 2 L brackets. So trying to show these so you can see them in the camera the best way. But basically 2 L brackets that we're going to use. I bought a 2x2 piece of wood, and I just cut it down to a little bit over 3 inches. And I bought some magnetic tape in a roll. This is just to basically go on top of the wood to protect the camera. So we're going to hopefully see if this will stick to the wood. So, alright, so as I said, I had to get some screws. I actually had to go back to Home Depot and get some screws. So I got number 8 1/2 inch and number 8 nylon lock nuts. With that being said, the first thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and get this piece of wood to connect to our poles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the rest of this bad boy out. There we go. Done. We're not going to need this anymore. And essentially what I have left is a nice hole in my wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to my garage, and I'm actually going to measure this right here. And this measures, it's about a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go ahead and mark a 1/2 inch on this with my pen right here. Alright, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to my garage and I'm going to get my drill, and I'm just going to drill a bigger hole so that way I can fit this entire thing inside. I'll be right back. Alright, alright guys, I'm back, and there's the hole that we went ahead and did, and I just put on some gloves, and now we're going to use some epoxy. So this is the resin right here, this is the hardener, and we're going to mix this up to try and create a super strong seal. You could probably use super glue. I just don't know how well super glue would hold, so I would much rather use epoxy, equal amounts, and I'm going to use it generously. I use epoxy for a lot of things, especially when I'm making rackets longer with butt caps and things of that nature. So we're just going to try and That's about equal. They do sell the epoxy in kits where you get equal portions of both if you don't feel comfortable, but I've mixed enough of it, kind of know what to do. Just gonna mix it around a little bit. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some inside of my hole and try and get it touching all around. Second thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some around the hole. So, looks something like that. And I have a washer on here, and the reason I decided to put a washer on here is to give this base a little bit more sturdiness when I put it on. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some on this pole and all around the grooves of the pole. I'm going to put some on top of the washer as well, just to help it have a better seal. But we want to make sure we use as much epoxy as possible, because we don't want this thing falling off with our camera, that's for sure. So put the rest of the epoxy in here. And what we're doing is we're hoping to fill as much of this as possible, because we want it to hold really, really well. I think that's about good. And then what I'm going to do, we're just going to join them together. And hope that this takes, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So I think what I may need to do is, I made the hole a little bit bigger than I wanted to. So I think what I'm going to do is try and break off a piece of this stick. And I'm going to stick one in on each side. Yeah, that's a little bit too big. There we go. Essentially, just going to put a little bit of this popsicle stick on each side to just kind of shore up the pole, just to make it a little bit tighter, just because I messed up when I made the hole. I made the hole a little bit too big. There we go. Perfect. Again, this doesn't have to be an exact science, just something we're trying to do as a makeshift. Alright guys, I'm back, and there's the hole that we went ahead and did, and I just put on some gloves, and now we're going to use some epoxy. So this is the resin right here, this is the hardener, and we're going to mix this up to try and create a super strong seal You could probably use super glue. I just don't know how well super glue would hold, so I would much rather use epoxy, equal amounts, and I'm going to use it generously. I use epoxy for a lot of things, especially when I'm making rackets longer with butt caps and things of that nature. So we're just going to try and there we go. That's about equal. They do sell the epoxy in kits where you get equal portions of both if you don't feel comfortable, but I've mixed enough of it, kind of know what to do. Just gonna mix it around a little bit. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some inside of my hole and try and get it touching all around. Second thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some around the hole. So, looks something like that. So, I ended up hacksawing off the little teeny tip, but I was able to get it, see? So, I was able to secure it in there and hammer it in so I know it's tight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to epoxy the rest of it to make sure it doesn't come off. So the epoxy will help complete the seal around it. Fill in the gaps. At least that's the goal here. So we're just going to try and put as much epoxy on it as possible to hold it, because we definitely don't want this to come off. Shouldn't come off, it's in there pretty tight. I had to hammer it in to get it in, so I think we're good, but better safe than sorry. We'll fill in all the remaining holes around it with epoxy and get it to really be tight. That epoxy should hold. Again, this is just going to be sitting up on a fence, not a whole lot of weight from a GoPro or some other camera. So again, it's not critical that this be perfect. Because again, we're just using this for tennis. So, alright, so now that we got that done, we're actually going to set the pole on the ground with all the weight of the pole leaning on it, and we're going to allow that to set overnight.
Hey guys, we're back, and the last time we checked out, we went ahead and epoxied this wood to this telescoping handle. We got some screws and a special attachment to be able to install these screws. Should be pretty simple. We're just going to basically take our angled piece and our wood, and we're just going to line it up, and we're just going to basically screw this bracket on. There's one. There's two. There's three. And there's four. So now the bracket is on. We're good on that side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take another angled bracket and simply attach them. And if you attach them, that should be more than enough space to fit on any fence post. See if I can get a little bit closer. You should be able to fit that on any fence post, no problems. If you need to adjust it bigger, you could take 2 screws out and elongate it if you needed to, but you shouldn't need to. And should use just some small screws. Go ahead and get it connected with some nuts. I'm going to connect them by putting the screw through the bottom, because that's the part that's going to sit on the fence when you're using this mount. So alright, so we got that screw through. Probably be slightly easier if I clamp this down. But yeah, I went through. There's a nut on the top to secure it so it doesn't go anywhere. And I'm only going to connect it with 2, because I honestly don't think you need more than that, because it's not like it's super heavy that it's supporting. Alright, that went through. Lock it down with one of these nylon nuts. And there you have it. So now you have this nice handy dandy thing, which will sit on a fence post, kind of like that. And I also bought from Home Depot a connector bolt right here, a 1/4 inch. And this is going to go right into the wood, and hopefully, let me make sure. And it does. It screws right into the camera. So this is the perfect mount. So now I can just put this right into my wood, right here, to mount the camera right on top. Now you could possibly take another piece of metal that you could drill in on this side of the wood and have it sticking up, and have a little wing nut so you can move it back and forth. I don't see why you would want to do that, but you might. But I'm going to put this in, and then I'm going to use this magnetic tape to kind of protect the camera from this, the bottom of the camera, so it doesn't scratch. And that'll soften up. Now you could use Velcro or any other soft substance that you could stick down, and not the hard part of Velcro, but the felt side, the soft side as well. Anything really soft to protect the camera. I'm just going to use the magnetic strip because it's easy enough to kind of put there and do. But this will be simple enough to just basically put this into the wood and just kind of screw it in. And I'm using my hand. Eventually it's going to get too hard to the point where I won't be able to use my hand, so I'll probably have to use some sort of a wrench or pair of pliers, something to be able to turn this and twist it. But for the most part, I can at least get it started, and then I can put it the rest of the way. But pretty simple to be able to make your own mount for under $30, or right around $30, depending on what the cost is of the same materials at your local hardware store. Like I said, I bought all my stuff at Home Depot because it's the closest store to me, and it was just convenient. Alright guys, just wanted to show you really quick. Here is my GoPro base. So I can just simply screw that on. And then once I get that screwed on, I can just simply put my GoPro camera inside the connector. Adjust this base just a little bit. I don't have to have it perfectly tight on there. But then I can just take this, like I said, slide it on. Once the camera's in here, it'll be a lot easier. But basically put that there, screw my connector bolt in, like so. And then once my connector bolt's in there, I can adjust my camera when it's on the fence to get the right angle that I want, tighten it down, and bam, it works. So I hope you like this video and I hope it helps. If you like this video, definitely click like below. Hit subscribe so you can get more videos, and we will be having some giveaways coming up, but we need some more subscribers. I need to get to 100 subscribers before I start giving away free stuff. So help spread the word, share the love, and I'll talk to you next time.